Luke chapter 10 verses 38 to 42. Martha welcomes Jesus and Mary chooses the better part. Jesus entered a village where a woman whose name was Martha welcomed him. She had a sister named Mary who sat beside the Lord at his feet listening to him speak. Martha, burdened with much serving, came to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me by myself to do the serving? Tell her to help me." The Lord said to her in reply, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and worried about many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part and it will not be taken from her." The name of the village was Bethany, where Mary, Martha, and Lazarus lived. Bethany is a small village about 2 miles from Jerusalem on the eastern slopes of the Kidron Valley just above the Mount of Olives. This reading compares the secular world or things of this world and things of God or things of the spiritual world. Martha appears, although we are not certain, appears to be the older sister of Mary. It was Martha who extended the invitation to Jesus to come into her house for a meal. Keep in mind that when Jesus traveled, it was not just with the 12, there were many disciples who also came along. So, when Martha offered to welcome him into her home, we can safely assume that she wasn't going to show only him a meal but many more beside him. Martha was the one who became distracted by the things of the world and the preparations of a huge meal for many people. She also expected her sister Mary to help, but Mary decided to sit at the feet of Jesus, the usual posture for a student, and learn from Jesus as he was speaking. Martha had decided to honor Jesus by her work in the kitchen. Mary had decided to honor Jesus by listening to and internalizing his every word. When Martha complains about Mary, Jesus says, "Mary has chosen the better part and it will not be taken from her." Martha was worried about the details of the day. Sure, we all need food to live, food is thus important, but which is more important, love of God or love of your neighbor? Matthew 22 verses 36 to 40. Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? And he said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments depend all the law and the prophets. Martha had shown her love of neighbor while she was preparing the meal. Mary had shown her love of God by learning more about her faith from the Son of God. Remember, both signs of love are essential to Christianity, but love of God is more important than love of neighbor. The preceding parable of the Good Samaritan was a demonstration of the love of neighbor, and the story of Mary and Martha's conflict is a demonstration of the love of God. The preceding parable of the Good Samaritan was a demonstration of the love of neighbor, and the story of Mary and Martha's conflict is a demonstration of the love of God. The Samaritan and Martha focused on the world, and in both cases their focus helped to build up the kingdom of God. Mary, on the other hand, focused on things eternal. It is important to be concerned with things of the world, but more important to focus on the eternal. All sins are sins against the first commandment. The first commandment contains the whole of the Decalogue or the 10 Commandments. For all sin serves some other god, obeys another commander, the world or the flesh or the devil. So if we obeyed only this one commandment perfectly, we would need nothing more. Saint Augustine says, "Love God and then do what you will. For if you give your whole heart and will and love to God, then what you will be all that God wills."